Welcome back to allthingsproduction.com. Recently, Fight posted a video on some production techniques with the Trap and Logic Pro video, and I thought it would be an excellent idea to show you guys that are already trap producers where you can take that knowledge and apply it into another genre or subgenre, I should say, of electronic music, and that would be future bass. So future bass is really heavily influenced by trap, and also by some dubstep and glitch hop and whatnot. So I've put together an Ableton set here to show you some of the similarities, and hopefully this helps you guys out if you're not already familiar with future bass again and interested in trap. Why not expand that knowledge into this other genre and have some fun with that, and maybe even make some money with it as well. All right, so here we go. So I've got a few things here. I've got some synth master, as Fight did in the Logic Pro video. So I've got some synth melody stuff here. I've got some darker synths, some sub bass here. I've got a sine wave using a Nexus patch. I've got an FM synth that I've got layered with that I'll cover. But let's take a listen real quick here and let's see what we got.
When's the last time you heard a beat? Be my diss.
All right. Okay, so as you guys may be able to hear in there are definitely some elements of trap that have translated into future bass genre, as well as, again, the dubstep a little bit, and some glitch as well. So what do we got going on in here? So Fight covered some things in the Logic Pro video on trap about hi-hat programming. So let me take a look here at this drum rack that I've got. So inside of Live, down here in the bottom right hand corner, Command 3 will toggle on and off triplets, and of course Command 1 will zoom in or change the finer grid resolution. Command 2 will come out, of course, and again Command 3 triplets. Command 4 actually turns that off and on. So say the triplet hat programming that he demonstrated there again translates into this genre too. And let's go to triplets 16th. So we've got some 16th note triplets here. We've got, looks like, some 32nd notes there as well. And let's take a listen to this. So of course I've got some other effects on there too, which you may or may not even heard that well when I was in the mix, but it does add some of that depth and some of that space and big reverb and delay stuff that you kind of find inside of future bass as well. So let's jump into another trap element, the sub bass. So again, on the Nexus patch, I just have a basic sine wave here, and Fight demonstrated inside of Logic Pro the use of that sub bass, and he had added some distortion on there to pull the frequencies out in the areas such as 400 to 500 hertz, where the notes and everything can start to be heard inside the bass. And he used a few different plugins there to demonstrate that. So what I did is took a sine wave, and I've actually did a different technique somewhat and layered it with an FM bass, which of course can do somewhat the same thing as adding those other plugins like in Logic Pro, but doing it with another layer. As well as that, I've created a group here, and I also have a mid-range fattener, somewhere around 500 hertz here, which is going to add some saturation, a little bit of multiband compression. And again, the multiband compressor inside of Ableton Live also has a sidechain feature, which you could send EQ frequencies in there and use those two together as like a dynamic EQ, if you will. So let's take a listen to this bass here. So just a basic sine wave, and with the FM synth, it starts to already cut through that mix. And again, Fight made an excellent point about if you were to play this sine wave or that sub bass, that trap bass that he had demonstrated on laptop speakers, you'd have a really hard time hearing that because it didn't have the actual frequency content that needed to come through on these small speakers. So by adding those plugins and demonstrating what he did with that bass, brought that out so it could be heard. I like to listen off of my phone, especially when I'm referencing mixes as well. That gives me a good idea if everything's going to work right on multiple systems too. So again, just some of those trap bass elements there. Another way to look at that bass, you could add the things that as Fight did. You could add these as well, and still also maybe layer it with another bass synth to go ahead and help that cut through in those frequency ranges, so it works on all systems. But again, just another trap element. Also, some of these synth chords that we have going on in here. Let's cover some of that and take this out of here. Show you guys what I have going on here too. So here's a Synth Master plugin that I used to create the chords. And what I also did was took these what's called 8 knobs. You can find those on ableton.com. I love these guys. These things are so much fun. So I've instantiated these 3 on here, and I've mapped these to one of my controller knobs over there, and just had kind of played the synth and listened to it, and kind of just got the feel for it by ear, and didn't really go in here and draw and program and click in all these parameters as I'm going to demonstrate here. And it's pretty on beat just by listening to it. I could always go in and tighten this up, but let's take a listen. I'm just going to throw these drums on here so we can make sure we hear it in time. Okay, so let's back up. So not only do we have the automation here, but I've also got some filter automation too, which is this guy. And there we heard that some of the other future bass elements, such as all the space that's left to the drums and to those little bells and dings and melodic elements that are used in future bass that have their own little space. They're not really layered with a lot of other instrumentation. They're kind of left to stand out on their own, which is one of the main features and distinctive features of future bass. At least that is for me. So let's go here for a second. Such as those. So some of the other elements as well that translate from trap. Let's see what we can find here. Another bass sound. some other elements. Let's see what this is. So, yeah, so a little bit about how you guys can take the knowledge of trap and move that right into another subgenre of electronic music called future bass. And of course, just wanted to show you guys some of those elements that would translate over. And if you, again, weren't familiar with future bass, now you should have a little bit of knowledge on that, so you can go research some more. If I get some time, I may even freeze and flatten some of these synths that I've used in here and collect all and save and upload this session for you guys, so you can download it and mess with it as well, and hear for yourself some of the similarities between the Trap and Logic Pro demonstration Fight did, which is also available for you to download, and mess around with both of these things and have some fun. All right, guys, that's all the time I have for now, and I hope you enjoyed this. allthingsproduction.com. Go to the forum, post your questions. We'd be glad to answer those for you. Make any videos we are requested to do that can help you guys out in understanding topics. And yeah, so have a good night, and until next time.